Hey everybody, a wise man once said that I want to do the right thing, but there's a difference between wanting and doing. So let's make sure we get into the habit of doing. We're going to talk about being a go-getter today, so let's get to it. Hey everybody, Nabil here, and I am joined by my co-host and my brother.
Hey, it's Shamir. How you guys doing?
I hope all of you guys are well in this week. We're really excited to bring you today's episode. We want to see what you guys are doing in terms of being a go-getter, being a hustler, really doing the grind and the hard work in order to be able to accomplish whatever dreams or goals you might have in kind of any area in your life. How are you doing today, sir?
I'm great, man. Thank you for asking. Few things. Thank you to everybody that's been supporting. Continue to like, comment, and subscribe on our YouTube channel. The Ringle Dingle Dingle on the notification.
Ringle Dingle Dingle.
Also, please listen to us on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, and continue to watch us on the YouTube channel as well. Hit us up on our social media platforms. So
yeah.
Anybody that's supported us till this day, thank you guys. I wanted to shout out Alyssa for purchasing this sweater for. It was a gift from her universe. Shout out to Ashley Eckstein as well.
Oh yeah.
Hopefully we could have you on the podcast one day as well.
Got that at MegaCon. That's the biggest convention in Orlando, Florida.
We were just there this past week and we had a blast.
Oh man, it was a really good. It was
and it's
really
actually how Nabil actually came up with this topic today about go-getting. We're going to dive into that, by pieces today. Honestly, what experiences or what drives you on a daily basis, Nabil, to be like, I wake up every morning and I'm one step closer to my dreams. What's your main motivation? What's that core that drives you every day?
I mean, that's a great question. I just the opportunity of being alive, a new day. It's just like, all right, we're on the right track. I'm not dead yet, so that's good. That's exciting. And then it's like, I kind of have this habit where, I guess to answer your question specifically, just my loved ones, my family members. I certainly like to. What are you drinking there?
Got me some coffee with the Bump Podcast coffee mug. It's coming to a store near you very soon. Our merchandise is definitely in production right now for all the fans. Sorry for cutting you off. I needed to drink my coffee anyways, but we're going to have shirts, coffee mugs, hats, all types of stuff coming soon. So please support us as well on that. It'll be on the bottom of our YouTube and our platforms as well, and on our link tree and whatnot. So you guys could shop for our merch as well and keep a positive vibe everywhere you go. For sure. And also it'll help us, of course, be able to fund the podcast more and be able to do more for you guys. Not so much for us, but, we'll be able to upgrade this podcast. Of course, we don't want to stay the same way forever. We want to be able to provide you the best quality content possible. And so by supporting us with the merchandise that's coming soon, I think it'll help us in a big way. Oh, yeah, of course. And, what makes us look good will also make you guys look good and just have what you guys deserve, which is nothing but the best, because you guys have been amazing and very supportive in just a short amount of time that we've been on social media. Definitely. And, on any of the platforms that you're currently listening to us on, as well as watching on YouTube. So, we're excited to really show you guys what we have in store. Can't believe it. Thanks to this guy, really. But, so yes, my main drive, going back to your question beforehand, you guys, my family, my friends, and just the desire to, through this platform, being able to make a change in the world and feel like I've accomplished something, like I've done right by God, I've done right by all of you guys. So that's my drive every single morning. That I wake up and try to keep that in mind. But sometimes, of course, when things don't go necessarily as planned, sometimes you can kind of forget what your goal is or your purpose is, because you're kind of letting your emotions drive you sometimes. Yeah. Nabil was just speaking to me about I think it was a comment from it was constructive criticism. And something I want to say about go-getting is something that drives me is, not just constructive criticism. I always take the negative and turn them into a positive. I try to, anything that somebody says negative towards me or the podcast or anything in general, I turn it into a positive. And that alone gives me so much stamina and strength to continue to move forward, because as you succeed in life and whatever you do, there's always going to be a lot of people that are going to be envious, that are going to hate, that are going to talk down on you, because they're not you. They're not doing what you're doing. So
they certainly don't want you to do better than them.
Right, exactly. People like to see you do good, but not better than them, and that's sad. But at the end of the day, use that as fuel to go get the dreams that you want to fulfill in life.
Yeah.
And honestly, it was just, when you told me that, it was just in my mind, I was just like, bro, this is just more of a motivation to, and it was good constructive criticism. At the end of the day, the person was commenting on how I was projecting myself on the camera and stuff like that. So it's like, that's fine. You know what I'm saying? Like, if I'm doing something wrong, hey, as I go with y'all's comments or not, we're going to recognize the things that we're doing wrong, and we're going to try and fix them.
Yeah.
So, at the end of the day, my goal and the Bills' goal is to continue to move forward and build up our personality and build up our strengths and build up our life in general to a whole nother level that we've never seen before. So, this is what our episode is about today, and our topic. We're going to continue to, try to fulfill our dreams one step at a time.
Absolutely.
And just maintain our focus. Anyways, go ahead, Nabil.
Yeah, and we're going to talk a little bit about MegaCon for a couple of reasons.
Oh,
yeah. It's definitely I've been going to that convention for years, but we'll talk about it later on in the episode. Of course, as usual, we're going to go over the definition from the encyclopedia, in this case of go-getter, which says someone who is very energetic, determined to be successful, and able to deal with new or difficult situations easily. That is easier said than done. That is not easy. I mean, I guess sometimes it can be, depending the circumstance and situation, of course, but sometimes that's not the easiest thing to do. First of all, it's defining that we need to be energetic. Some of us are not energetic. Some of us, sometimes it takes a while for us to really, build up that energy, depending what time we're starting our day and what it is that we're going to do throughout the day.
Yeah, of course.
I don't know if it was with you I was talking to, if it was with my wife. I don't remember what, but no, actually, I think it was a coworker. Mm-hmm. We were talking about how, some people we're going to mention on today's show, Mark Wahlberg, Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson. I mean, the list could go on and on, of people who will start their days like me, for example, who I wake up at 4 a.m. Mm-hmm. I don't do what these guys do, but I should get there at some point where they wake up 3 or 4 a.m, they go work out, right?
Yeah.
That's the start of their day. They go work out, then they'll have breakfast, they'll shower, they'll do whatever it is they need to do. And then they go work on their movies, on whatever it is they need to do, press tours, you name it. Mm-hmm. And then you have the average person, I guess, sort of like us or other people who, let's say if they need to work at 8 o'clock, they snooze their alarms. Now they're late. Now they woke up later. They show up to work later. So let's say it's 10, 11 o'clock, and it's pretty much lunchtime for a lot of people, including those guys that are hustlers. And they're already eating. This other person is just getting started. Yeah. They're getting their day started. So it's not lunchtime for you yet. You haven't even been at work for 4 hours. 4 to 5 hours, depending what job you have. So you have no opportunity to have a lunch break. That's just ridiculous. Now that person came back from lunch. Now you're going to lunch, right? And that person's already still grinding and doing their thing.
Sure.
That the person that started off later comes back from lunch, does their work until about, let's say, between 4 to 6 or 7 at night, depending what time they went at. While these hustlers are still working for a total of between 12 and 15 hours. Then they go to their trailers, they go back to their hotels, they go back home, wherever it is that they're shooting. I'm talking about actors specifically. or athletes or what have you. They rest for a few hours and then they start it all over again. But the point is, you see the fruits of their hard labor. You see that they're a go-getter.
Right.
Their work speaks for their actions.
Of course.
If that makes sense. Or their actions speak louder than their words, and in turn, their work speaks for it all as a whole.
Sure.
Right? So ask yourself what kind of person it is you want to be. Do you want to always be comfortable? If so, you have no right to complain about.
I feel it's great what you're saying, because I feel sometimes that a lot of people just want things to just land on in front of them, and okay, well, now I got money, now I got fame, or now I got recognition, now I got awards, all these things, and they haven't even put in the work to do so. Seeing these kind of people or role models to certain people is where that's kind of like the measure that you should see. Okay, these people are not sleeping for 18 hours a day, whether it's healthy or not. But it's the measure of like, okay, if you want to be at their level, that's what you need to do. That's the work you need to put in order to get to that. Whether if it's sports or Hollywood or whatever you're trying to succeed in life. Same thing as studying in general, going to school or whatever you're doing. If you want to be a Steve Hawking or Elon Musk or whatever, look at how much these people are reading. People
all the time, nonstop.
People are. These people are putting in. Yes, they have a good circle. They have a good circle of people that they work with that help them to continue to build what they're doing. But before they even had these people, these guys were putting in that time. Look at Bill Gates, for example. If you see his history of how young he was, and he was already reading, this guy reads, I think it's over 50, 60 books within, I think it's less than 6 months, bro. Like, this guy will read over.
That shows how smart he is too, and retain stuff.
Right. But that was because it's not because he was, not just an overachiever, that he was what do they call it, a genius. It's because he developed it at a young age of reading so much to the point, like one of the previous podcasts we were talking about, when we were talking about porn addiction, I was saying that one of the things that was most unhealthy was the amount of time that we were putting into gaming and all these things. Mom had to bring food to us to you remember, right? So the same thing with him. His parents had to bring food to his room in order for him to eat, because he was constantly reading. You see what I'm saying? So the time,
but at least in his case, he's not wasting his time and brain power versus us, where we lived in that first group of society where we were just focusing our eyesight, our brain power, and our physical bodies, or lack thereof, on just whatever's on the screen. Whereas he was just like, boom,
reading.
That's a great way to.
So then it's like a person that works out all the time. Let's say The Rock or Mark Wahlberg. These guys are physically in the gym every day. They're going to outwork you working out because they're always there. They eat, sleep, and drink that shit. You know what I'm saying? So it's like right now, one day I'll bring it on the podcast. When I was incarcerated, I was doing 600-700 push-ups a day at 30 seconds to 1 minute interval of breaks, 20 push-ups each set, right? So 700. We have time to do that. You know what I'm saying? Right now, you know what I'm saying? I can't do that because I'm not currently active as I was at that moment. But what I'm trying to say is that if you consistently do these things, you'll get to where you want to get to. But if you're not willing to put in the work, having the time to do so. I was watching a podcast on Manuel from Puerto Rico, and
I did see a clip of it.
Right, so he was saying,
buddy of his.
All of us have, he's a personal trainer. He does a steel mace flow, which is with the mace bar. That's really cool. He's a yoga teacher as well, a yoga instructor, and but he was saying that all of us as humans have the same 24 hours in a day. You cannot tell me that you and I do not have 30 minutes, an hour to work out or do something physical, walk a mile. Right. You know what I'm saying? If you walk just a mile every day, bro, you're doing enough cardio to stay healthy the rest of your life. Just doing that. You see what I'm saying? So
what about in my case that I constantly have to walk up and down at work?
Exactly.
The entire line.
Right. So, but check the steps on your phone one day, because they literally,
it's several thousand.
Exactly, on a daily basis. So, bam, you got your mile a day. That's it's not overachieving or anything, but you're doing your cardio for the day.
Yeah.
You see what I'm saying? A lot of people are just sitting down.
I think that's why. I don't remember if it was my lady or if it was one of the guys that were with us at MegaCon. They were like, bro, how are you not tired? Because you're constantly walking the entire convention floor all day, standing in lines all day, whether it's for panels, meeting actors or celebrities of any kind. And I'm just, for one, I've done it for over 10 years. 14 years. 14 years I've been going to conventions.
I love it.
And so with the current job that I have, which is, a form of manufacturing, we walk the line all the freaking, like all day long, all week long. Yeah. And I'm working over, 40 to 50 hours a week. So I guess I was just able to retain it where everybody else is just like, bro, I need to sit down, which is true. Once I sat down a couple times, I'm like,
felt good.
I needed to sit down. This feels great.
Yeah, of course.
But anyway, going back to what you were saying earlier about being like the hardest person in the room or whatever, it reminds me of a quote of The Rock that I really like so much that he's mentioned it time and time again.
It's a man, la, la. What The Rock is cooking. All right, I'm sorry.
I was gonna say do your best thing, but let's not. we won't do him any justice. But he always says, be humble, be hungry, and always be the hardest worker in the room. Yes. And that's a fact. And my challenge to you right now is, are you? Are you really the hardest worker in the room, in whatever room you're stepping into, whether it is your household, whether it's your job, your school, wherever it is? Are you the hardest worker there? Can you literally look around and be like, I know I can outwork this person, this person, this person. I can back it up with what I do every single day. I can say no in certain areas. You know what I mean? Like if I see a whole bunch of people at a gym, I am definitely not the hardest hustler there. Why? Right. Because I'm not currently going. But if you tell me, or even like I'm pursuing acting, I'm pursuing production, and I'm putting in the work somewhat slowly. I need to do more. But currently I'm still trying to balance out, being a family man, work, pursuing what I really want to do, so that the work that I currently have, I could leave it behind me and be like, peace out. I'm never doing this again.
And I don't mean to cut you off, but there's something that I've come to recognize with certain things in life, like when it comes to the family and stuff, for these people that have a lot of, you got a kid, or you have a wife, or you have everything. It's good to kind of like learn things that'll have your family intrigued as well in what you're doing in your job or whatnot. Because let's say if you're traveling constantly with your job and you have to bring your family with you, what activities or what things can you find in order for your family to continue to be entertained or to follow your footsteps as a provider in the family or whatnot? So let's say, you're an actor, you go to the gym.
Yeah.
Bring your family members with you to the gym. Bring your family members, maybe not on set, but like,
they can go on set, but they'll get bored is what a lot of actors say.
So then what can we do to fix those things? You see what I'm saying? Yeah. There has to be like, teach your family how to play chess, teach your family how to do different things, read while on set, be productive every second they can. You see what I'm saying? And when you're tired, you go to sleep. You sleep nicely because you literally used your day as a productive day every day that you're going by. You see what I'm saying? Like, for example, I'm going to give you a ritual I've been doing now that we, got the podcast going. I got school, got the kids. When the kid's around, I got to stop doing what I'm doing in order to take care of him. No problem. So then once I'm done with school, I'm done with the kid for the day or whatever, and he goes to sleep, I start doing the podcast, editing it, whatever, right. This and that. I also studied, learned more on how to do all these things that are still new to me. And then on top of that, I still take a time, even though it's late as hell as night, it's late at night. I'll lay down in bed and have my little light for my book and read a little bit. I go to sleep reading, and another thing that I'm doing is also when I shower, I drink a bottle of water before I hop in the shower, and also before I go to sleep, I'm drinking a bottle or two of water before I go to sleep. After
all the time.
You see what I'm saying? So like, and bro, like I've noticed that like I wake
Wait, so you
up
read, then you go shower and drink your water, and then you go to sleep?
No, in general, just like it doesn't matter which sequence.
I was gonna say,
do
because it makes sense if you showered, you read the book and drank your water, because you're gonna knock out.
Oh my god,
that's the best way to go to sleep.
Usually, I would shower before all this, so I don't have to like it's like 2 or 3 in the morning. And I'm like, oh, now I gotta hop in.
That's what I mean. Forget that.
Yeah. No. I do the shower usually before, but what I'm trying to say is that I do hot showers for the most part too, to relax like the muscles and stuff. So, but I drink a good room temperature water. That's another thing I've been doing. I'm always. I don't drink cold water in the fridge. Room temperature.
I do it for my wife because she only wants cold water.
No, and that's fine.
So yeah.
But realistically, the most healthiest way to drink
is the room temp.
Anything is room temp. And when I was incarcerated, I had to get used to drinking room temp everything. I could drink a Powerade, a soda, anything room temp, and it's perfectly fine.
Soda though, room temp?
Oh, dude, a nice good ginger ale.
Really?
Yeah, it's good. But I mean, and sometimes you get the flavor. It's like when I used to drink back in the day, and recently when we were at MegaCon, I had just one beer, and I let it just the Heineken. I just let it, warm down and get a better flavor out of it. And it's just a social drink. It's not like I'm drinking every day anymore or anything like that. But sometimes I feel like things that are room temperature, you get better flavor out of it than when it's cold. For some reason, I don't know.
Yeah.
So.
Getting back on topic, so to speak, I liked how Mark Wahlberg has mentioned, right, that we're blessed to be able to have a fresh start every day.
Oh, yeah.
Why is that important? Like, I know we talked about in the beginning, obviously, but why is that important? Because if you failed at something today and you wake up the next day, right, you have that opportunity to learn from that mistake. And instead of wallowing in self-pity, you actually can all right, what did you learn from that mistake, and how are you going to be able to move forward with whatever it is you're pursuing without having to repeat that same mistake? And I know I've done that multiple times. I mean, even just now, here's a great example, our podcast. You know what I mean? Any mistake that we've noticed or we've caught, we're like, oh, okay, well, how do we fix it? Okay, we're going to fix it by doing it like this. Whether it's the length of our episode, the quality, whether it's the sound, the camera, whatever it might be, thumbnails, the promotional content, whatever it is, like, what can we do to be better? Why? Because we want it to look better. It shows experience, it shows growth, and we can, everything that we're kind of telling you guys, we're putting it into practice as well. It's super important. You want to see progress. I've said it multiple times, and I'll sound like a broken record saying it again and again. If you're comfortable, you're going to stay stagnant, and by staying stagnant, you won't see any progress. You'll get bored. You'll be like, You'll feel unmotivated, and that's not the point. The point is to keep moving forward step by step every single day. And when you look back, you're like, wow, I've achieved a lot. This is incredible. I'm so proud of myself that I've been able to do this, and I have people to constantly support me, and I've done right by people.
Right.
That's super important. To quote some more people, this one was really good. By the late Chadwick Boseman, one of my favorite actors. That man, he's killed it in so many of his projects that he got to do before he passed. Then I was already following his career, but even more so after he passed. I just felt like I needed to, I don't want to say replicate this guy, but certainly follow in his footsteps, because he was a man of God, but he also was a hustler, when he went to school and all the differences he made while he was a student.
And also when he did have his cancer, correct?
Colon cancer.
This guy was still going to work after chemo and all that stuff.
He kept it quiet. He didn't even tell anybody. Except his closed circle.
But a lot of people tend to that's another thing too, about this topic of go-getting. There's going to be times where there's rocks in the way, or potholes and stuff in you progressing in life.
Yeah.
And there's going to be circumstances that might hinder you or kind of put you on pause because it might be something tragic. So it's like, how do we deal with these situations? Are we going to just, let it attack us and let us down, and we just completely fall into depression and a different state of mind? Or are we going to continue to the best of our abilities. In this case, this guy is definitely inspirational because it's like, bro, chemotherapy must not be easy. Our mother did not go through chemotherapy, but she is a cancer survivor.
Thank God. Yeah.
Yeah. Praise Jesus. And, you know, it's not easy. So going through chemo, being in cancer, having cancer, not speaking to anyone about this, because imagine this guy might have been going through depression as well, and he didn't say anything.
The director Ryan Coogler remembers that he said it on a podcast, and he mentioned how, like, on set of the first one, he saw Chadwick one day. He was breaking down in the corner wearing the Black Panther suit, and he's just like, "Yo, what's going on?" He's like, "Nah, nothing. I just got some things." So he didn't tell him.
Right.
Now looking back, he's like, "Dang, this man was fighting it, and he didn't tell any of us."
So my point proven. You get what I'm saying? It's you know, you're
and sorry to interrupt, but the fact that Chadwick would also go and visit kids with cancer on a regular basis, and try to bring them some joy and bring them toys and sign autographs and things like that. Like, this man was fighting through it.
Right.
You know?
And that's the point. I mean, as a go-getter, those are things that, okay, it's not just the positive things that outcomes and stuff of life. It's also the things
through the negative
as well that you got to bring, because that's life in general.
Yeah.
So, you know, that's something to also put in perspective when you're going through these things, you know what I'm saying? To be able to build off the positive and negative. So
no doubt. And the quote that I was going to say was, he would say that when you are deciding on your next step, next job, next career, further education, you should rather find purpose than a job or a career.
That's gas. That's jet fuel, SpaceX fuel.
And what we talked about of what he did, he was working on his purpose.
Nice.
His film career and everything like that was like the cherry on top, I think.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like, I don't think it was his primary goal.
Right.
His primary purpose was to do right by God and to do right by people. And I mean, if you go on YouTube, you can see his work and full on labor. Like you just see it. You know what I mean? Like, that's something to admire and to aspire to, and that's certainly the guy I'm following.
And let me say something.
I got another quote from him too. But
yes. We as humans, we're not perfect, but one thing I can tell you is that everything's 99% because we're not perfect, right? But one thing that we can give 100% of is our ability to try, our ability to.
And I hate to use the word try. This is going to be corny as heck.
Go ahead.
But what Yoda says in Star Wars: The Empire Strikes Back, do or do not, there is no try. There's truth and a lot of weight behind it, because if you try, and if you're in your mind, you're saying I'm trying, you're not going to give your 100%.
Right. You're just giving yourself the
doing
benefit.
You're giving yourself space. You're giving yourself space for doubt.
Right.
For acceptance of, like, well, you know, if it didn't happen, it didn't happen. No, do it. Do it 100%. I mean, Nike, you quote it all the time.
Yeah, love them.
Just do it. You do it, and you're pouring everything into it. You failed, that's fine. That's fine. Just get up the next day and try again, or do it again.
Yeah, and that's my point. You know, we can give our 100%, and as long as you give your 100% every day, that's all that matters. Whether win, lose, or draw, you know, because that's just the point of all this. You know, as a go-getter, again, it's ups and downs. So, but go ahead with that quote, because this guy's got some really good quotes.
Well, the ups and downs, like you mentioned, I mean, this goes perfectly with Chad. It says the struggles along the way are only meant to shape you for your purpose.
That's good.
Think about that. Marinate in that. Again, I'm gonna quote it again, just to really let it sink in for you guys and for us. The struggles along the way are only meant to shape you for your purpose. Guys, ask yourselves again, what is your purpose? And once you find out what your purpose is, whether it's helping people mentally, spiritually, emotionally, economically, physically, whatever the heck it is, like our buddy Manuel, he does he's a personal trainer,
steel mace, and he does yoga as well. And some other stuff too.
Yeah, I mean, the guy, if you would have seen him back in the day when they were in school, the kid was a scrawny, skinny little dude who aspired to be a wrestler. You know what I mean? And he pursued it. And then from there, that's when like we saw this incredible change throughout the years on social media where phenomenal. He just bulked up. He looks great. I'm sure he feels great.
He speaks eloquent when it comes to just his career in general. As a personal trainer, he could talk to you about just health in general.
We should try to get him on to the podcast at some point.
Yeah, I definitely already spoke to him about it. We just got to meet ways whenever our schedules line up. So, but yeah, he's willing to travel, or we could travel to him.
That'd be fantastic.
Yeah. He'll definitely.
Got so much history right there too.
Oh my God, we got so much to talk about, man. But hopefully we could sum it up to a good time frame as well, because try not to extend things too long, but he would be a good positive vibe when it comes to the health portion and working out and all that. So hopefully we would work out with him too. And
that'd be fantastic. That'd be nice. So just again, go back to marinating in that quote that Chadwick Boseman said, because it's a powerful thing, and we might be. It might sound like we're repeating ourselves in today's episode, but that's why we're repeating it, because we wanted to just have it ingrained in your brains. On going after whatever your purpose might be in life.
And let me say something with that, because not just ingraining you guys and us as well, because I'll tell you something right now, we're on our we already released, we're on our third podcast going on this week release. Yep. So realistically right now,
so we're ahead, as you guys can
we're
tell.
ahead. Yeah, exactly. But realistically it's good, because not only are we ahead, but I want you guys to understand something. We've motivated ourselves to do these things because we don't really have much followers right now. We don't have really much, But
I do feel content about what we have so far.
Of course, yeah, man. I feel phenomenal.
Family and friends have really come and supported us, and that's beautiful.
At the end of the day, we don't have like 10,000, 100,000 subscribers or followers on Instagram. None of that. But we are pushing through it to get to those levels and even more, and spread the word around the world. You see what I'm saying? And reach people anywhere around the world. But I want you guys to understand that we're going through it too. And we're not exempt because we're in front of the camera. You see what I'm saying? On the contrary, we are putting to practice the things that we're talking about on every podcast, one way or another. Yeah. And we're not perfect, but we're motivating ourselves. We're trying to go get the things that we want in life, which are positive, and we're trying.
That's how we started this podcast.
Yeah,
going after it.
Yeah, and so I just wanted to mention that, because we're realistically motivating ourselves, and we're just coming up with different ideas for different topics and all this stuff. Yeah, and we have a list of stuff, but at the end of the day, new topics every day come to our minds one way or another through our life circumstances and
through whatever we go through.
Right, and as we interview people as well, we want to bring the best out of any person, whether famous or not, on the podcast as well. To them, share their trials and tribulations, their life experiences, their ups and downs, So you guys see that we're not alone when it comes to struggles. We're not alone when it comes to, the bad times. So I just wanted to mention that, because it's definitely important for you guys to understand that we're all in this together. It's not
for sure.
Hey, we're just giving you guys some type of advice or some type of motivation, and we have no weight behind it. No, the contrary.
Yeah, no doubt about it. Again, I'm gonna be quoting different people that you've looked up to, aspire to, and things like that. And I don't know if you guys are familiar with Shark Tank, but good old Mark Cuban, that man's a heck of a business guy, man.
I love him. He's out of Pennsylvania too, so that's even better.
Fellow Pennsylvanian. You guys didn't know this, but we were born in Pennsylvania, Reading, Pennsylvania.
Reading.
So I consider myself a Pennsylvanian in that regard, but we didn't really grow up there.
Yeah. Sadly, but
we will visit as soon as we can. The closest I've been is Philly, downtown Philly, which was like 4 hours out, if I'm not mistaken, from Reading.
I haven't been able to really leave the state. I'm on probation right now, but
work in progress.
We're getting there. So
good old Mark Cuban. He said something that resonated with me, and he said, it's not about the money or connections. It's the willingness to outwork and outlearn everyone when it comes to your business.
Nice.
And if it fails, you learn from what happened and do a better job next time, which is what we've been kind of talking about throughout the episode.
Yes.
And I mean, his work speaks for itself.
Oh no, he's Jeff
before Shark Tank, and even
I like how money hasn't gotten to that man. I mean, I never met him in person and I've never seen, but
Correct.
you know, when there's like arrogance, like Mr. Wonderful, for example, or something, and even then Mr. Wonderful's got a good story behind him too, but I think it's more, he portrays this person on television just to catch that
Just to have
attention
that,
and
yeah.
have that havoc on
course.
TV to make it more drama and stuff within the, you know, the cameras and whatnot. But that's cool, man. I love Mark Cuban as well. He's definitely
And what basketball team does he own again?
the Dallas Mavericks.
Huh.
Yeah, got championship rings and stuff. It's gas. Yeah,
And there you go.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Oh, yeah.
That
He's
speaks for
awesome.
itself too.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So
and he came realistically from nothing, and I think his parents
Yeah,
were
he did.
immigrants as well. So
They
like
sure were.
they I'm not 100% sure on that, but I think so. So
no, you are right about that. I know I've read about it. I just don't remember where.
So you know, coming from nothing to something, it's possible. I mean, you just
It's
gotta,
possible for any single one of
Yeah.
us.
And he went to college, and I say this all the time. I'm in school, you know, but that doesn't specifically mean you need to get a degree to be successful.
No.
But what I do say is you do need to educate yourself in anything you're trying to do. You know, I mean, there's no possible way around that. I mean, you need to learn the things and the steps to whatever you're trying to do, whatever career path you're trying to do, if you're even trying to do something. So,
Yeah. No doubt about it. Look at somebody like The Rock again, because we just saw a recent video on his Instagram page where he was at the stock market exchange.
yeah, he was on
Like
Wall
you would
Street.
think, like you would just think a guy like him has got no business being over there. Like you're an entertainer, you know what I mean? Like why are you there
He's
specifically?
probably got some business ventures. or
That's
something.
exactly what it is, though. He had some sort of business thing. I don't remember what it was because it was last week when I read it. But he had signed something. He went there and he went to go sign whatever it is that they signed when they're going to close the stock market for the day. I think it was. I don't know. You know more about it than me.
Probably just closing the market for the day or something.
I don't know. Something it was and whatnot.
Probably an IPO or something.
Sure. Yeah. And so like this man does everything. He is hustling.
Yeah.
I mean, he went from literally a football player in college to becoming a amazing the best. Fight me if you disagree, but the best
Chris Benoit's
WWE
the best,
superstar.
wrestling,
yeah,
entertaining wise, I would say The Rock is definitely up there of my maybe top 3 or to 5 wrestlers.
Chris Benoit
whatever.
had the best chops.
and the best wrestling in general.
All
R.I.P.
that's
to
okay.
Chris
Once
Benoit.
we
we love you, man. Wherever you're at,
wherever you,
you got a bucket of water.
that's terrible.
Excuse me. Anyways, yeah,
but
The Rock's
I mean,
up
The
there.
Rock went from doing all that to doing some, Scorpion King and stuff like that, which they were all right.
Mm-hmm.
But like nowadays, a lot of his movies are huge blockbuster hits. You know what I mean? Because he's putting in the grind. He's doing what he has to do. He's talked about how he's had acting coaches throughout his career that have had to help him because they didn't want to hire a wrestler as an actor, and it's still like that nowadays. But now it's becoming a thing where they're breaking that chain. You got The Rock, who kind of really started that.
Right.
Actually, Andre the Giant. He was on a movie called the Princess Bride, which was made by Disney. So that was like, I think, as far as I can remember. I could be. Please correct me if I'm wrong. And I'm not going on a tangent. I swear this is all going to come back full circle. But we've seen throughout history that wrestlers have doused their toes into acting.
Oh yeah, of course.
Again, Andre the Giant, Hulk Hogan in what was it, Rocky 3? Thunderlips.
Yeah. Thunderlips.
And anyway, and I mean, you could go on, but you have The Rock nowadays who's blown up. You've got Batista,
John Cena, Ted DiBiase, Mr. Kennedy.
I mean, yeah, but
I mean, but that have ventured out to movies.
right. Like
But
what's
the big ones,
really
yeah,
blown up, and Sasha Banks. That girl's been in The Mandalorian.
Oh, yeah, that's cool.
and she doesn't look cheesy. Like anytime she's been on screen, she's doing a really good job.
Solid, yeah.
You know what I mean? She's already been in 2 seasons, in a couple of episodes each season, but still, she's done really well.
Yeah.
And I'm so happy to see that. You know what I mean? That their hard works are not in vain.
Right.
You know what I mean? That they've had to hustle, they've had to grind to be able to be successful and be a part of these.
Yeah. We saw her last year at MegaCon too. So.
From afar. We didn't get to actually meet her and whatnot, but maybe at some point. Another quote that I want to quote from the wonderful, amazing actress, Angela Bassett. She says, if you don't know who she is, you need to look her up. I mean, just in Black Panther alone is huge, but she's done a lot of other amazing films and TV shows. She says, don't settle for average. And I agree with this. I'll explain why in a minute. Bring your best to the moment. Then, whether it fails or succeeds, at least you know you gave all you had. We need to live the best that's in us. She's freaking right. We shouldn't settle for average, which was going back to what I said earlier, right? Which is, you know, if you're stagnant, if you're just comfortable the whole time and just, you're going to get bored. You're not going to be thankful. You've already taken it for granted. You're kind of ungrateful at this point because you're just living the same thing over and over and over again. And I think we mentioned it in one of our other previous podcasts, which again, if I sound like a broken record, I'm sorry. But like, we grew up in Puerto Rico for several years. We've left. If we go back, we're going to see the same people in the same neighborhood, in the same house.
Yeah, I think there was analysis paralysis video at the end of it, so check that one out.
So there you go.
That's episode 6. It'll be out soon.
Definitely check it out, guys. And that's just, to me, it's great to see them in the moment. It's just kind of like, okay, so what do you do? Oh, you know,
nothing going on, the same thing.
Or, you know, and not knocking on this, but like I work at McDonald's or the public library. You know, I have a friend that I grew up there actually, who I've still kept in contact with, and he's working 2 part-time jobs at 2 different restaurants as a server.
Right.
And I'm like, you have the potential for so much more. He says he wants to be a comic book artist. I'm like, bro, that's dope. So I looked him up the information. I told him, listen, you could connect with some serious comic book artists at Puerto Rico Comic Con, which is about a half an hour drive for him anyway. Hasn't done it. He said he was going to do it, and he just hasn't done it. He's like, nah, you know, and I don't know if I want to spend the money to get in. And I'm like, bro, you got to invest in what it is that you want. You have to. Like, so if you want to be fit, you have to invest the money in working out. And going to the gym. And the gym nowadays doesn't cost that much. I feel like post-COVID, it's actually dropped a bit. As before. You know, before COVID and whatnot. Correct me if I'm wrong. But from my own personal experience, when I had my gym membership and I was working out, prices were different then as opposed to now. And it's just kind of like, dude, they're practically handing it to you. All you got to do is invest $20 to $30 to get in and talk to these people.
Yeah, of course. Yeah.
And they're not like an actor, so they don't have to, you know, necessarily pay to meet the comic book artist. You know, you can literally walk up to them, and sometimes they don't have a line. You just have like 1 or 2 people. So it's like, all right, bet I'll wait 5, 10 minutes, 15 minutes, and then go up to them and, hey, listen, I'm an up and coming Facebook comic book artist, and you know, here's kind of my work. Here's what I'm doing.
So, you know, change the subject real quick a little bit, but we're still at the cons. How was MegaCon? Did you enjoy MegaCon?
Man, it was the best MegaCon ever. And I mean that in every sense of the word. I've gone to some great MegaCons throughout the year and some separate Comic Cons and all that stuff. But that's a story for another day. It fell on my birthday weekend. So that Sunday, February 4th was my birthday. Freaking one of the best birthdays I've had in a while, and I've had some really good birthdays. But it was just incredible. Like, the reason we mention it is because we went out there and we networked. We networked with people. Shamir got us some business cards ready to go. It was somewhat last minute, but man, this man killed it. He just, you did great.
Thank you.
And yeah, we went to different celebrities' booths and stuff like that, and you know, we sometimes had to wait in long lines. But we went ahead and we're just like, screw it, we don't care what the handlers or agents have to say, you know, we're just going straight to the source. And so we did, and went to a couple of voice actors, went to, you know, Danny Trejo. We went to some big guys, you know, in order to be able to tell them about our podcast and see if they would like to collaborate at some point. And so we'll see.
We got some other artists.
We've got some people lined up for sure.
We'll keep it low for now.
It's still a work in progress for sure. But the point of this story specifically is we went out there and we put ourselves out there. And whether it's win, lose, or draw, you know, we can proudly say that we went out there and promoted the podcast and did our part in order to make that change, in order to be able to prove to ourselves that we can do it. And that even though, that our podcast is still just starting, it's still in the in the very beginning stages of what it could potentially be if we keep at it every single day for years and years to come. It's great. And I'm proud that we pushed ourselves to do it, you know, because you kind of feel a little shy, like, you know, they might reject us. They're like up here and we're like down here.
Yeah.
Forget all that nonsense. Get past those barriers. Like, they're humans just the way we are, and they struggle too just as much as we have. They probably struggled a little bit more because they actually went for it and they made it.
Yeah.
Whereas we're just still a work in progress. So the moral of that part of the story is, please don't be your own barrier in trying to get whatever it is you're chasing after. And we don't mean the materialistic stuff. We literally mean go get your purpose. Go after your purpose. Achieve it, accomplish it, because you're going to do the world and everybody around you a favor.
Oh, yeah.
You know what I mean? You could probably change somebody's life by doing it. We're probably going to change multiple people's lives by doing this podcast. You know, even though we were not sure how it would work out, it took us many months to get to episode 1.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, the equipment and everything like that, and just personal situations and things like that. But here we are now, and, you know, we're content with what we have now in terms of followers and subscribers, but we definitely want more, and we're going to go after it to get more. Not necessarily to be lucrative about it, but more so to be able to just make that change in the world, you know, and be a light in a world full of just darkness.
Oh, yeah.
Without sounding corny or anything like that. And to quote Mark Wahlberg one last time, he says something very good. You have 2 choices in life, okay? Basically, to succeed or fail, point blank, period.
Oh, yeah.
What do you choose to have? What do you want? And why do you want it?
Exactly.
So just think about that.
Ask yourself these questions, you know, be self-aware.
On a day-to-day basis.
You know, find your niche, find the things you want.
Yep.
And then once you have a game plan, just execute it. Don't doubt yourself.
ASAP.
You know, our episode on analysis paralysis, don't do that to yourself. Just do it. You know, hopefully.
Like The Rock says, I don't pretend to do it. I do it daily.
It, you know, and thank you, Nike, for that slogan. You guys are awesome.
Their work speaks for itself too.
Anything else you want to say before you?
No, I think that about does it for today. I mean, I hope that this was very informative for you guys, and that you can take something out of it. Because, you know, if you guys want to criticize me for being a broken record, great, I'm gonna take it.
Yeah.
But you know, I do want to be that positive change in this world. I think that is my purpose. I think that's my calling from God to do, is to help people in any way, shape or form that I can. Oh, yeah. And I mean, he's provided this outlet for the both of us to be able to do that. So that's what we're going to do.
Yeah, we're going to keep going. Thank you guys again for tuning in on all our social platforms, Spotify, Apple Podcasts, YouTube. Continue to follow us on all our social medias as well.
IG, Facebook, and now TikTok.
We got our TikTok as well. I mean, that was past due, honestly.
Yeah.
So like, comment, and subscribe. The ringle dingle.
Make sure you click that little button.
Oh, yeah. So you guys know what time it is when we upload. You guys watch our videos and our stuff and give us a thumbs up, thumbs down. I already said what I feel about that. We're going to leave it at that. So hopefully you guys understand what the thumbs down means to us.
And comment down below. Let us know what you guys think, feel. If you've gone through it, talk to us. We want to hear it. We didn't mention it in the beginning, but we're mentioning it now because we have to in every episode, is we are not professionals, but we certainly are here to share our life experiences in order to at least help you guys get to the next step, to find the professional help that you actually need in order to achieve whatever it is that you're looking for in life.
Also, there's a disclaimer in the description below, so please pay attention to that. We are not professionals.
Read it.
But anyways, thank you guys again for tuning into the
podcast.
Everybody. We love you guys. Take care, and it'll be until the next time.
Yep. See you later.
See you later, guys.